Miss the chaos, the builds, the drama? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Here's everything you need to know. From the Minecraft movie 2025, let's rewind the blocks. Steve, a man seemingly trapped in a mundane existence selling doorknobs, harbored a childhood dream of mining. However, his initial attempts were met with failure. Eventually, he grew up, feeling a void in his life, a stark contrast to the vibrant dreams of his youth. One day, a spark of inspiration ignited within him, the mines. He decided to embark on a new adventure, to delve deep and rediscover what he had been missing. This time, armed with determination, he felt unstoppable. His mining efforts led him to unearth two peculiar artifacts. Combining these objects resulted in an unexpected event, the creation of a portal to another world. This realm, known as the Overworld, captivated Steve with its boundless possibilities. He marveled at its landscapes and the freedom to create anything imaginable. Steve quickly embraced this new world. He constructed various houses, experimenting with different materials and designs. He started with a basic dwelling, then a slightly improved version, eventually culminating in a house made entirely of sheep's wool. Despite the joys of building and exploring, Steve felt a sense of loneliness, especially during the frequent nights. He longed for companionship. That's when he encountered a wolf, initially a threat, which he managed to tame using a bone. He named the wolf Dennis, and the two became inseparable. Together, Steve and Dennis embarked on numerous adventures, constructing impressive builds and exploring the overworld. Steve's building skills improved with each creation, leading to more elaborate and ambitious projects. He even created a welcoming space, Steve's, where pandas and cows would gather. Years passed peacefully until Steve stumbled upon ancient ruins and a chest containing flint and steel. This discovery inadvertently opened a portal to another dimension, the Nether. The Nether stood in stark contrast to the Overworld. It was a desolate and joyless place, ruled by Malgosha, an evil piglin sorceress, and her piglin brutes who were consumed by a relentless desire for gold. During his time there, Dennis was captured. Steve, unwilling to let his friend suffer, offered himself in exchange for Dennis. However, Malgosha wanted both of them, plus a powerful artifact known as the Orb of Dominance. She coveted the orb, planning to use its power to pillage the overworld and claim all its gold. Steve, recognizing the grave danger posed to the overworld, refused to let Malgosha succeed. He and Dennis managed to escape, stealing back the orb in the process. Knowing he had to keep the orb safe, Steve entrusted Dennis with a crucial mission: to take the orb to Earth and hide it in Steve's house at 149 Hollyoak Drive. Dennis bravely accepted the task, becoming the last hope for the overworld. Dennis successfully made it back to Earth and concealed the orb under Steve's waterbed. Steve felt a moment of relief, but then immediately realized his waterbed was a terrible hiding place. The overworld would only be safe as long as the orb remained hidden. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Garrett Garrison, a former gaming champion known as the Garbage Man, had faded from the spotlight. Once renowned for his skill in the arcade game Hunk City Rampage, Garrett now found himself participating in storage unit auctions, hoping to strike it rich. At one such auction, Daryl, the auctioneer, enticed Garrett with the promise of a 1978 Atari Cosmos, a rare and valuable gaming console. Garrett, eager to recapture his former glory and financial success, agreed to bid, even promising Daryl that hanging out with him would be a consideration. Garrett won the auction with a bid of $900. But when he examined the contents of the unit, the Atari Cosmos was nowhere to be found. Frustrated and disillusioned, Garrett began to trash the unit. Amidst his despair, a strange occurrence interrupted Garrett's rampage. The waterbed in the storage unit started to shake violently, eventually revealing a shimmering portal. Elsewhere, in a town called Chuglass, Henry and his sister moved into their late mother's house. Their move was prompted by their mother's passing, a sad occasion that led them to this new town. Henry and his sister are greeted by Dawn, a mobile zoo realtor who seems to be very sorry about what happened to their mother. Henry was starting at a new school, and on his first day, his sister, showing love but also misguided ideas, prepares him a tater-tot breakfast pizza and velvet mischief cologne to help him find new friends. She also suggests he pass out slices of the breakfast pizza. However, Henry's first day did not go as planned. He was quickly labeled as the new kid, and his rocket scientist aspirations were met with skepticism. The school itself seemed odd, and his attempt to create a jetpack during art class was quickly dismissed. His art teacher, who also taught gym, also told the class that financially, he was living in a nightmare. Things went from bad to worse when an accident involving a potato chip factory's mascot, Chuggy the Chip, led to Henry facing expulsion. Desperate, he called upon Garrett, the garbage man Garrison, whom he had met at the storage unit, to pose as his uncle. After that, Henry goes to Garrett's Game Over World shop. Garrett offers advice on how to make friends, and they also discuss the breakfast pizza that Henry is supposed to give out. Garrett's appearance at the school worked enough that Henry wasn't expelled. However, Henry was beginning to feel frustrated and misunderstood. Seeking solace, he returned to the abandoned mineshaft he had discovered earlier. There, he stumbled upon a mysterious book and a glowing orb, with a warning never to combine it with another artifact. Despite the warning, the orb seemed to pull him towards an unknown destination. His sister discovered that Henry was missing and contacted Garrett. Using his map, Garrett was able to find Henry in the mineshaft. However, Henry was pulled into the same mysterious portal he discovered in the mineshaft. They all got sucked in. The portal transported Henry, his sister, and Garrett to a strange new realm. They wondered if they were in Wyoming or Idaho. Garrett thought they found their first quest and tried talking to the only thing around, a weird-looking old woman. Unbeknownst to them, they found themselves in the overworld, where Malgosha discovered that Steve had returned and possessed the orb. Back in the Nether, Malgosha enlists the help of General Chungus to retrieve the orb and eliminate Steve and the newcomers. To assist in the mission, Malgosha offered a Nether wart potion that prevented them from zombifying in the overworld. However, she didn't have much to give out. Meanwhile, Henry and his sister argue over whether they belong in the overworld or not. Garrett locates a villager who sells maps that will help them get back home. However, to do that, they need to find a woodland mansion to return home. Also, according to Steve, his former friend, the Garbage Man, broke their only way home, the Earth Crystal. The group then goes to get equipment for their journey back home. They stop at Steve's shop that features a jingle that nobody likes. Steve has made a small fortune selling lava chicken to Nether people and overworlders. They also buy equipment from him and listen to his stories. Then, as they were getting to leave, there's an earthquake, and a mysterious force is pulling Garrett towards the doorway. Suddenly, General Chungus and his army of piglin brutes arrive at Steve's lava chicken, launching an attack on the establishment. A chaotic battle ensues, forcing Steve, Henry, his sister, and Garrett to flee through another portal. This portal led them to a dark and foreboding landscape, where they encountered Steve, a mysterious figure who seemed to know more about the orb and the overworld than he let on. They quickly discover that Steve is actually a long-lost resident of the overworld who had an adorable dog named Dennis. The discovery sets the stage for an uneasy alliance, with Steve agreeing to help them return home in exchange for the orb. As they look in a distance to see the world ahead of them, the group prepares for a perilous journey to the woodland mansion, unaware of the dangers that lie ahead and the forces gathering against them. With General Chungus and his army closing in, the fate of the overworld and their own lives hangs in the balance. Will they survive the journey and find a way back home? Or will they succumb to the darkness that threatens to consume them all? The tossed ender pearl propelled a character to an unexpected location, much to the dismay of its owner, who lamented its loss, revealing it was hard-won in a battle against an enderman. The focus shifted to a crafting table, described as a tool to combine elements in specific patterns to create items, demonstrated by crafting a blade. A character, attempting to showcase his own blade, instead produced a hammer with a flourish. Another character, trying their hand at crafting, instead made buckets. While initially disappointed, he was reassured the buckets were useful and even dubbed them Buck Chuckets, a name met with confusion. He then revealed a tot launcher, a creation that impressed the others by turning mundane items into something extraordinary. A serious conversation ensued between two figures, centering on a note left with an orb, promising riches. The promise of diamonds led to a debate about a detour to the Redstone mines, considered dangerous. A demand was made: no diamonds, no orb. Making his intentions clear, the group then needed to find a map to the Woodland Mansion. An unsettling scene unfolded as piglins appeared, presumably after the orb, causing chaos. A character named Chungus was confronted, revealing that Małgosia had double-crossed him and he needed the orb. An exchange with another character, acknowledged as Brohammer, led to a confrontation. Tension escalated as someone sought to claim the pig for themselves. Ultimately, others had to retreat to protect another figure. A debate occurred between two named characters, one wanting to help the individual, the other wanting to leave immediately. They decided to head back to the Woodland Mansion in search of a map. The action shifted to an escape, involving elytra wingsuits for gliding. Everyone made their way towards mountains. A character ran out of wingsuits, leading to a precarious situation where assistance was needed. One of them told another to let his hips guide him during flight. It was the only way. They eventually decided to split up to improve their chances of success. They fought against riders, and the narrative focused on two characters squeezing through a tunnel to evade pursuers. They escaped a fall with a clever use of a water bucket for cushioning. They regrouped and spotted the map guy, realizing that to find the map, they first need a boat. However, due to lack of experience, the constructed boat was quite poor. They managed to get on a boat, with a person telling about her divorce. The team confronted the map maker, demanding answers about stopping the piglins, the gorgonzola smell from a beard, and the evil sorceress. The map maker revealed the sorceress as Małgosia, a piglin queen from the Nether, showing how her path to darkness started in the Nether's Got Talent. The character narrated her backstory. Małgosia's dreams of being a world-class dancer were crushed after a humiliating performance, leading her to denounce creativity and seek gold. It was said if she gets that orb, she would black out the sun. He then revealed that the Woodland Mansion was located beyond the Redstone Mountains and could either be traveled over or through. It was decided that it will be quicker to travel through. Małgosia ordered the execution of General Chungus for failing her. As a replacement, he activated the Great Hog. They continued, describing the Redstone mines as dangerous. After navigating booby traps, diamonds were found. An argument ensued about the danger and Steve's motives for wanting diamonds. Garrett then confessed to needing the diamonds due to being broke. A somber moment followed, with Steve confessing to struggles and loneliness, as it looks like everything was put together. Another character, Steve, was a great listener with emotional intelligence and wanted to have the guts to ask him for dessert. The team finally reached the Woodland Mansion, and the narrative focused on infiltrating it, and the Earth Crystal, and the dangers that awaited. It was described that it had 3 floors: Vindicators, Axe Murderers on the first, and Evokers, dark magic users, on the second. Then, on the third, it would house a loot chamber guarded by Endermen. While all this was being explained, one character admitted to have accidentally stolen the orb. Steve explained that a diversion would be needed. This diversion turned out to be a rather awkward singing performance. In the meanwhile, another character had to fight in a gladiator-esque setting against other monsters. The character was pit against a chicken, then a chicken jockey, while everyone cheered him on. As this went on, Hank got to his destination. A character, trying to pet a seemingly harmless creature, was warned about its hidden danger. the atmosphere shifted to a taunting scene where one character tried to get into another's head. When the character was unsuccessful, he threw the boy off his tower. To rescue him, another character jumped off after him to save him. They were saved, and it was revealed that the character had gotten the crystal. The narrative progressed to show that Malgosha had arrived. The heroes were pursued by Malgosha on a new hog, and they were ambushed. To save the others, a character deliberately stayed behind, as the others had to jump off a bridge, as Malgosha had set off an explosion. As the rest of the group was free-falling, it was then revealed that Dennis, Steve's dog, found them. After an explanation, the group traveled to a mushroom hut. Apologies were made. The group then traveled on to confront Malgosha again. They traveled by use of complex contraptions to avoid hazards and prepare for battle. The preparations included a complex redstone machine. Soon, the group arrived to confront the enemy forces. Their arrival was met with iron golems. The group attempted to attack the monsters, but learned that they only attack when provoked, resulting in self-inflicted damage. Soon, Malgosha joined the battle. At the same time, there was some infighting going on as well. Egg-based attacks were deployed. As one character went to collect the orb, the two engaged in a battle. The main character eventually secured the orb, which resulted in the defeat of Malgosha. It was revealed that the one character who stayed behind was still alive. Steve and the Garbage Man came to a pleasant reunion. As Malgosha died, she delivered a sinister message. Afterwards, the heroes went back home. Back in their realm, Dennis and Dawn got to be together, and Natalie was hosting a self-defense course. And lastly, Hank managed to have his jetpack working. The narrator mentioned that it was an amazing time. A final goodbye was said. The narrator concluded that with bravery, the real world could be anyone's overworld. After the adventure concluded, the lives of the characters began to normalize again, with some humorous touches. A character received bread as a gesture of appreciation. A former partner showed up, causing a comical scene. The villager, now able to speak human, asked Marlene to marry him. An epilogue showed Steve visiting his old home, now occupied by someone else. She invites him to come inside. However, as things seem to settle into a happy ending, a lurking sense of unease began to creep back in. Subtle signs, dismissed at first, started to accumulate. Unsettling whispers carried on the wind, shadows that danced with unnatural autonomy, and a chilling cold that lingered even under the warm sun. Garrett, now running a successful store, noticed an unsettling pattern of disappearances within the town, each disappearance marked by an inexplicable lack of any trace. A chilling discovery was made deep within the mines. An ancient portal, pulsating with dark energy, was discovered. The air around it crackled with an unseen force, and an ominous presence emanated from within, hinting at a power far beyond anything they had encountered before. Steve began to experience unsettling visions, fragmented images of a desolate landscape, and a looming figure shrouded in darkness. The dreams felt more real than reality, a chilling glimpse into a terrifying future. These unsettling events pointed towards the existence of a new threat, far more dangerous than anything they had faced before. A looming darkness was beginning to coalesce, promising destruction and chaos. The peace they had fought so hard to achieve was about to be shattered, and a new battle was on the horizon. The adventure may be over, but darkness beckons them for another.